how do you?
Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is Karen Newman. This is the Saturday Human Colony Hucolo webinar. It is Saturday, the 22nd of August, 2020. We're here with all of our lovely Hucolo family and especially our challenger. And of course, I don't know how to stop it, so there we go. Okay, so we're here with our Hucolo family and especially with our channel, Jim Charles, and everyone that you see every week. So in the room today, we have Dawn, we have Yana, we have Kathy, Angie, Barbara, Keenan, Christine, Deda, Barbara, Alan, if I'm saying people twice, Eva, Kate. Oh, there's Kate. She was late. And who else? Stephanie and Selesh. And somebody else maybe that popped in just now. But welcome, everyone. So, Jim, how was the workshop? Why don't you tell us how it went?
I thought the workshop was a very nice fellowship time. There was a lot of information. Not all of it got through. There was a lot of questions. It was really beautiful, though. What needed to come through got through. And I think everybody there had a good time. I'm guessing. So far, we haven't had any really bad reviews. So everybody seemed to enjoy it. And especially the fellowship with each other. It was a really, very, very wonderful workshop. And I really was happy to see those that were there were really an amazing group of people. So it was really lovely.
That's awesome. You've got socially distanced and wearing a face mask, Mark Zinzel. They're sitting in the background. Hey, Mark.
Yes. And he said he thought it was the best venue yet.
Well, that's good. This is the fifth one, right? The fifth event, isn't it? Sixth event. So sixth.
So
great.
Yeah, it's our sixth workshop. Can you believe it?
No.
That's so. But and there are some people out there that's been to every single one of them. Once you go to one, it's hard to not want to go because you get really friendly with everybody and it's really beautiful.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
I feel like I shouldn't be talking about it. I should let somebody else talk about it.
Yeah. Anybody want to share their experience with the workshop? Yana, you were there.
She was online.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, unmute. Yeah. Hi. So I had wonderful experience with the dimensions, densities, and timelines workshop. That brought in a lot of good information that was new for me. And I did the Magic 2 class, which was very new for me too. So yeah, a lot of new information. I was very happy that I could join on Zoom and didn't have to go from the Netherlands to New York to do it. Otherwise, it would have been impossible. But it was very, very nice to join you guys there. Thank you so much.
Great. Who else was there? That was actually, was there anybody that was there in the room? That was in the, Mark was there. You can talk, Mark. Here he comes.
Well, I would say one of my favorite things were the campfire circles. That's where a lot of personal information and more personal interaction with the entities that Jim brings through. That was really special.
That's wonderful. Yeah. Did George Carlin come this time?
No, not this time.
If anybody wants to see an amazing channeling, go and Google, and it's in Hucolo, so you can search on the Hucolo TV site, the channeling with George Carlin. It is undeniably George Carlin. There is no doubt in my mind. And it's just hilarious, but just truthful. And so you were there, and I wasn't there, but I've watched it a couple of times just because I think it's so, like, if you want to have an experience of George Carlin up close and personal through the internet on YouTube, then you should look at this channeling. It was so good. Yeah. We should have him come to, I'm going to add him to our list today. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's like, I was surprised to see him come through when he did come through, but he was Definitely him. Definitely.
He's definitely on it too. Like he doesn't pull any punches and he doesn't waste any words. He's really on it. So was there anybody new that came through that you experienced that people haven't met before? Or
Well, Rocco, which Ellen was mentioning, and
everyone
Kwaya.
here
I
wasn't
don't
there
know if
when
anybody is aware of Kwaya and Felendez. They are kings from Maya. Cardan came through. He's a Gilead individual. A diplomat.
Okay.
So there was a few that came through that do not usually come through on the webinars.
Yeah, awesome. So maybe they'll come through on the webinars in the future.
It is possible.
Maybe, if we're lucky. Yeah. So we'll start with blessings and then we'll go to channeling, if that's okay.
Okay, very good.
Okay, we'll start with Yana. Go ahead, Yana. Yeah.
Still mute, sorry. Tien tan cantano a cantana ye que han tatano o ardoa. Hainua antuane e kente ano ko anakata e tu ku utua kanta ye. Hainua hantataini e ye ua kanta yan kaha.
It is time for your people to bring forth a new day. Let the struggles of the past fall. Let peace be your guide. Let unity rule. You must find a way to come forth from this separation, and you must find a way to come forth from these hatreds of one another. You must find a way that is godlike, peaceful, and uplifting.
Thank you. Okay, Barbara.
Chatatiata kasinia tokoeata kisi piata kasia nakatiato kusi kisia shata kishiniata kiata kotoko piata kini kiata sisiata tiki kisisiata toko siata kamananeti kihatia kochiato ati kiata.
Keep your heart grounded in the truth and make sure that everything that you do is integral. This is a time when people are watching for the positivity. They are watching for the example. They are watching for the things that they can latch onto that will bring them into higher realms. So many are awakening, but yet so many more are asleep.
Did you say me, Karen? I couldn't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Okay. I was trying to read your lips.
Can you hear me now or not?
I
Can
can now.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Faruna mataru shatuku shari haloro anose sheda paku laloro anosh alove masu sharari sharosa seda maku oshana lalashi noho pere siru matoji manu asane tokosh hasuru pakonore alove amaro hashuno beseru antano torosa shatukuro alove ashiaro pakoro sorosa ashiani antoro matu laloro aloro havimaro sansari bakosha.
Speak not of politics or of those things that can have separation issues, but speak of God's word. Speak of God's love, God's compassion and understanding, so that that word is the word that causes unity in your world. Do not speak of those things that separate, but speak of those things that will bring you together in love, wisdom, compassion, and human confrontation in a positive way.
Okay, thank you. Did I miss someone? I know we have Dawn and Alan that are going to go at the end. Is there anyone that I missed from the beginning? No? Okay. All right. So we have a plethora of requests. I'll start at the beginning. We have Ganesha, Elijah, the Guardians of the Stargates of Orion, the Blue Avians, which Deda didn't request, but she said she's been talking to them, Takara, Grendel, Raka, and Archangel Samael. Sorry?
Samael.
Samael, what you said. Yeah, Samael. Samuel. I don't know. Say it.
It has an A-L.
Okay.
A-I-L.
That Archangel.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, that one. So
you can pronounce it, Kathy.
Yeah. And actually, before we do, Ava wanted to say something about her experience at the workshop, if she can. She just wanted to add that in. Go ahead, Eva.
Sorry, I'm just waking up, so takes me slowly. So this place was extremely beautiful. Was kind of like magical. There was a lake, small lake, but with enormous dark fish, and there were trails, which I actually did some little hiking, and it felt like the energy was incredible there. It felt like presence of a lot of elements. The cabins were so big. We basically had huge spaces, and my cabin were 2 people and 2 bathrooms. So it was kind of luxurious for a workshop. even the food, they were 2 adorable ladies, kind of
round.
I loved looking at them because they looked like twin sisters, and they did very good food, including the vegan food. I do have to say that was the best food ever.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, and the workshops were very interesting. Some of them were truly advanced in the form that the people who were channeled were so extremely professional, including Einstein, but I kind of had to really focus. Although they tried to talk to us simple people. So my favorite workshop was white magic. I could hear that forever. Just really, it's like I could just have entire workshop on that one subject. Were other fascinating, like the Matrix, and we spent a lot of time at the fire, so that was wonderful. The funny thing is that many of us are in the 3rd chakra right now of clearing emotions. So once in a while that would like pop up. But, it just clears and goes, and we end up loving each other because that's what we are. And everybody really tried their best. It was a little challenge with this mask and distancing, but I think it was like a dance, which we figured out how to do. And we end up feeling, at least I was feeling in harmony with what was happening, because everybody was making an effort and everybody's kind of coming from the perspective of doing their best in this situation. And we are loving beings, so there is a lot of kindness about. So I truly, truly enjoyed it, and just the green area, the beauty around there was truly incredible, truly. Lots of channeling. So I was very, very grateful for that, and wonderful people. So
that's good. Wonderful. Thank you for that. And I'm sure over the coming weeks, you guys can share more. I just had an idea, Jim, and maybe this is something we can discuss at another time, but maybe before you do another class, maybe you can do a mini class in the webinar where people can get a taste of it and decide if they want to do the full class, and maybe give them a taste of what they would get to experience. That might be something.
Okay, okay, I'll have to think
about it.
Usually everything is channeled. So I'll have to let them know that this is just a taste, because You know, with most channel beings, they keep going.
They just go and go. Well, we can
They
cut you off.
go and go. It's like
10 minutes is up, Joe. Yeah.
Energizer bunnies. Once they start, they
Yeah.
keep going. So we'll have to see how that works out.
Yeah. Okay. So the people, did I list who was? I did list who's requested. So I guess the next step is you go channel and we
All
listen.
right, very good. Let's see who comes through.
If everyone can like turn off their cameras and then we will get going. Wow.
What are you doing?
I don't know what that was. Okay.
All right, very good. I'm going to do a meditation. I'll be back in a moment. Hopefully everyone is okay, and I love you all. Think positive thoughts and let's go.
All right.
Greetings, I am Elijah.
Welcome, Elijah.
Beautiful people of this time. I want to offer to you a thought process that is very easy, and that is to be yourself. And some of you say that's an easy concept because some of you don't know who yourself is, but you must allow it. Allow yourself to come into your own. Many of you fight yourself and come in front of yourself and get in your own ways because you're trying to do it your way. You're trying to do it this way. You're trying to do it that way and fall in line with people's teachings and people's understandings. Stop. Take a deep breath. Seek out God and do it His way. Because your way will fall. Your way will falter. And your way will take longer and have more difficulties than God's way. Let me also say this. As you rise up into yourself, as you become who God wants you to be, your goals that were set here will grow because God's goal for you is not small, is not finite, but it keeps growing. If you can reach this level with God, He will keep growing you until you are in the next density. You're not limited, although many will tell you that you are. God does not limit His people, but He frees them. God does not accuse His people, but He pardons them. God does not make it difficult for you to live, but He tries to make it as easy as possible. He does make it easy as possible. Now, there may be times when there are difficulties in the third density, in this density and dimension. But those things will happen to all people. Those things happen in this dimension and in all densities and dimensions. This is not something special to third dimension, but it happens in all densities and dimension that there are troubles and there are times of sorrow and grief and problems. But get out of your own way. Move through them much more quickly with God's help, because with your positive energy fully engaged, a negative situation can be put to rest much easier. Listen carefully, my children. You are unlimited. You put your own limitations on you. You are the ones that put limitations. Society, your peers, your family. But I am talking to God who does not put the limitations on you. The thing is, you grew up with these limitations all your life. You grew up with, I am not allowed to do this all your life. I grew up with, I don't believe I can believe that all my life. And these are all very limiting because the fear is upsetting someone else, that it's not what God wants, that it's something you can't do. You must free yourself from all these negativities. And that's what they are. They're limitations. And these limitations must go. You're coming into a time when your limitations will kill you. Literally. I don't mean that to be frightening. But if you don't allow yourself to let go, you may make the wrong decisions. Your fear will push you into the wrong place. And I think some of you understand what I mean. You must be confident. With God, confidence is easy because He is your protector. He is your master. He is your leader, your guide. How can you go wrong? And you'll say, yes, but I saw some of these leaders in the past. They were killed or martyred or whatever. But you know what? That was then. This is now. If that happens now, it is meant to happen, and you probably would already know that by now. What He wants from you is your confidence. He wants your example. He wants your love, unconditional, and that's difficult. No one really ever gets it 100%. You may say, oh, I'm very unconditionally loving, but how many people make you mad and you lose that? How many people come into your space that causes you to be aggravated and you must let that go. Because you must look at them and say, you really don't have time for the aggravation. You have time for the person, but not time for their aggravating pushes toward you. And so you must free yourself of that limitation because it's a limitation. You are limiting yourself because of who it is or what it is, or it's pushing my buttons. Free yourself of that because guess what? God loves you no matter what you do. Do you think that sometimes God could be frustrated with you? Do you think sometimes God could be saying, what are they doing? Can you imagine God saying to himself, I can't love that action? But yet he does. And he doesn't let it stand in his way of helping you or being with you or loving you or reaching in to affirm you and lift you out of these problems. If that was the kind of God we had that would just be bothered by everything, then we would be in bad shape. We would be in bad shape. And I don't like the word bad. We would be in very negative shape. How's that? But lift yourself. No. Allow God to lift you. Don't limit yourself. Allow God. Open and say, all right, I allow you to do what it is that I need to do. Because that means you also allow yourself to be in God's presence. You allow yourself to obey what God wants you to do. You allow yourself to love. You allow yourself to be fully who you are. And I still hear people saying, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. because you never have been yourself. You never have understood who you are and why you're there, but you know there's a reason for it. Look at all the things that are you, what fits and what does not fit, why you get angry, why you are happy, why all. God wants to bring through you all your greatest assets. Does he want you to bring through Great Depression? Absolutely not. Does he want you to bring through argumentative actions or lots of anger? No, it will always exist there, but you do not use that as part of your example. You use it for justice purposes, that anger. You don't use it because someone ate the last cupcake. You should say, God bless you. That's one less pound on my body. But most of you would say, I really wanted that cupcake. And you took it without my permission, and so I'm a little peeved about that. Let it go. It's nothing. Let it go. Rise up within yourselves and know God. Because with your prayers, you must pray diligently that he comes through. Use your prayer language. There was a great session on prayer language at the workshop. The light language class was very telling in teaching. Use your light language to bring forth that which you do not know about yourself, those gifts that are within you that are not open, the things you need to know about yourself that you do not know yet. The way to pray about yourself that you cannot, because you just don't know how to. I love you all. I appreciate the goodness, the kindness and compassion, the love that you show one to another, and it's growing. And yes, I'm a harsh taskmaster when it comes to unconditional love and for people being themselves, because without that understanding of who you are and without that unconditional love, the wrong image of him will come through. You want to be the positive image of God. You want to be who God wants you to be. And many of you have incredible talents that you are using for God, and there's still more. There's still more. I love you so much. I love you so much. And I want to see you embrace the world. Not all the things that they are doing, but in unconditional love, that you can love even the unlovable. That you can include even those that no one else will include. That like Francis of Assisi, you can kiss the leper. Because you love him unconditionally. And he is someone that is as valuable as you are to God. You must remember, you are so valuable to God, but everyone around you is. Do some have greater missions than others? Yes, because they are uniting themselves, they're learning about themselves, and they're letting themselves grow so they can be used by God in a greater way. That is how greater people get used. It's not that they have more talents than you. It's that they allow God to use them in a greater way. Think about that. when you allow God to use you in a greater way, then that is when you rise up. That is when you say, yes, Father, I will do it. Yes, Father, I will obey. Yes, Father, no matter what it takes. And sometimes it's very, very painful to listen to God. But I know some people that do it. And guess what? They have the greater abilities than anyone else. They have the greater abilities than anyone else, and more numerous abilities than anyone else. Take heed, my children. God loves you very much. I will take questions today, just one or two, because I think there's a couple out there that are really important questions.
Yes, Kathy has a question, and then Dawn has a question. Go ahead, Kathy.
Then that will be it.
Thank you, Elijah. That was beautiful. You spoke straight to my heart, and I think you touched a lot of other hearts with your words. Those were very necessary this morning. Thank you. And you answered most of the questions that I was calling you forth to talk about. With all of these negative energies that we're being exposed to right now, and there's so much negativity and people arguing back and forth, how can we do a better job at keeping ourselves at an even plane where we're not reacting to so much negativity and hostility all the time? How can we better balance ourselves?
It's a wonderful question, because the ways the higher elements of your species would want you to be separated, would want you to be hating and fighting one with another, so that they can manipulate the situation while you're not paying attention. Pay attention to God. Pay attention to the soul. Pay attention and become who you are during these times. Do not become involved in that fight, because it's futile and neither side is right. The thing is, there's evil on both sides, unfortunately. And that is what they wanted. They want this clash. They want this civil war of thought processes. So with you, your unifying example and saying when somebody brings these subjects up to you is, I'm sorry, I don't talk politics. I'm sorry, but that is not for my higher good to speak about that. You may have whatever thought process you need for it to make you happy, but I myself must stay clear of it for the moment. I do want to vote my conscience, but you don't have to know what that is.
Thank you.
You don't have to know what my conscience is. My conscience is mine. My thoughts are my own. And you may have your thoughts and you may tell them to me, but I will not comment on them. Now, you don't have to say all that. But if somebody starts coming in and you go, you don't have to say anything back. And they'll say, well, what do you think? And you can say, I have my own thoughts about that. You may be right or wrong. I just want to keep my thoughts to myself.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sure that will help a lot.
Yes.
Thank you.
They are going to assume when you do that, you're on the opposite side of them. They're going to assume that, even though they may not be right. Even though they may not be right, but the thing is, you don't have to give in to that argument. You don't have to give in to them because they want to know what you're thinking. That is not necessary for them. That is your right to keep silent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Dawn, go ahead.
Blessings, Elijah. Thank you for that wonderful speech this morning.
Yeah.
Last Sunday, I was in a source meeting, you could call it, and I brought forth about 7 new "It is written" templates. Could you please explain what those templates were today?
Those templates were about the future, and they were given to you in that language, in that thought process, because they are to be revealed one at a time. They're like 7 seals. They are like the 7 pieces of information that need to be brought forth. But the first one is this. It is that you must be mindful of all the things that are in your world and bring that energy of all that is within your realm that you have created into the positive unity of God. He is the ultimate creator, the ultimate foundation of the world, and he is the ultimate protector. And for you, this is telling you that he is the ultimate protector. I paraphrased it a little, but that is basically what the first "It is written" was about.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your explanation. Thank you very, very
Yes,
much.
you're welcome. The language that it was written in, you would not understand it said directly, but it is of that meaning.
Yes, I have explained or spoken in many languages.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, Elijah, for being here.
Much love to you, my children. Please, if you need to listen to this again, there are things there on many levels of understanding. And therefore, you may get something out of it once again, because God is speaking to each one of you individually and as a whole. But each one of you got something out of it that was not meant for someone else. Much love.
Much love.
Greetings. This is Ganesha.
Jai Ganesha.
It is good to be here. Hello.
Hello. Much
I have a
love.
very, very small message.
Mm.
It is that I love you all very much. And to live in love in this kind of world is what is necessary. Love is in short supply when there's too much anger. So love must be kindled like a fire. Put more fuel on that fire of love so that all will see the flames around the world.
Thank you. Are you willing to take questions?
Yes.
Does anyone have a question for Ganesh? Well, I have a question, if I may. Can you talk about now what is because we're in the age of Kali Yuga, which is the great suffering time.
Yes.
And in this moment, what is our focus? You said love, but what should be our sort of daily focus in this world right now?
But first, before you even go into the world, your focus is on prayer and God, of course, and on bringing all the things that you need into your being to go out into the world. You must fortify yourself in a world like this with love, protection, beauty, compassion, all these things. Fortify yourself with them before you go out into this struggle. Now, what you should be concentrating on is bringing some kind of joy to the world, bringing some kind of love, compassion, or understanding to the world, and when necessary, even wisdom. Not everyone has that, but everyone should. Excuse me for laughing, but I am listening to Krishna and the others saying different things to me, and they're saying, "Oh, you're too nice."
I always pictured Ganesha laughing. So
Yes, but then,
I want to wish you an amazing birthday and honor you on your Ganesha Chaturthi birthday today. So thank you for shining your light in our world and
of course,
ever
I am
one
happy.
wisdom and removing of our obstacles. Though I've heard you're the one that give us the obstacles, so I don't know if I should take
Well, actually, Shiva can be the one that gives obstacles. He gave me many. But I do give obstacles, but only for learning purposes.
Yes.
They are not too difficult to overcome. They are small obstacles that make you think, that make you learn, that say, oh, why did that happen? Well, Or some people don't even think about the obstacles I put in their way because they think so third dimensionally that they cannot put a spiritual meaning on anything. But I still give it to them because one day they will remember, once they are awake, some of these obstacles and still learn the lesson.
Thank you so much.
Listen carefully, though. I wanted to add to what I was saying to you, how to prepare to go into the world. Each and every one must know that they can bring some happiness to the world, some positivity to the world that wasn't there before they came out of their door. You must be prepared to be that positive light that shines on them. Just saying hello and smiling can actually change someone's day. Opening the door for someone, being kind, and using kindness as your means of introducing yourself can actually change someone's day. Being of good nature and goodwill to people that are downtrodden, you may not know it, but you can be the change that happens for their day. This is how I want you to treat your work day, to treat your life as you move out into society or even speak online. I know that you are now all networked together, but your kindnesses and not your criticisms speak volumes. If you criticize someone, does it really help them? Think about that. When you say something hurtful and criticize and say you should have done that better, how does that help? But the way you should say it is in a positive way. This portion of your information was good, but this portion I question. Do you know why? And they'll ask, and they'll say, maybe because of this or that. They may have even options and answers for their own dilemma. But allow them to have the dignity to be positive about even their errors. Sometimes that is difficult. And sometimes it is impossible, especially when there is those that are indignant to begin with. So how do you deal with indignant people? You say, you look at them and you smile, and you do not let it bother you because this is their opinion of the world. This is the opinion of all that they were taught. This is the opinion of a life's worth of conditioning, and you do not happen to be part of that. That's their conditioning. That's their world. That's their life. That's what they learned. All of those things are part of their indignation. And plus they're unhappy. But you can say, I understand, and but you do not have to take it in on yourself to accept whatever grief they're trying to give you, because it is their grief. And the only way to deal with their grief is to tell them, you know, God loves you. God is a part of you and everything, but that may not be appropriate for the time. So you just say, okay, I'll pray about that.
So today's your birthday.
Happy birthday to me.
So I'm going to sing a little quick Ganesha mantra for you, if I can.
Music, love it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye. Om Gam Ganapataye. Vignesharam Pajure Manasa Vignaharam Pajure Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to me. Thank you so much. That was very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. Thank you.
Hi, Ganesha.
Music always makes me happy.
Yes. You're the god of rhythm. So
yes. Oh, yes. I cannot help but move back and forth then, and when everything is, yes.
All right. Much love to you. I don't see any other questions unless anyone has a question.
All right. Then
immediately I would keep you here.
There are others that need to come then, because the questions will come for someone else. But I had to bring my information to you and let you know what I think. Much love to you.
Much love to you.
Greetings, I am Takara.
Welcome, Takara.
It is a pleasure to be here with you. I heard my name being called. I wasn't sure in what way they wanted to speak to me, but I am here to answer questions. I know there are some questions about the conditions of the world, the government meetings, different things, but I don't want to go too in depth about government meetings at this time because more are coming up at the end of November. So we will find out more then.
Oh, thank you.
I just wanted to say that the colonies are being well utilized. Many of you are coming. As we come to speak to you in your sleep, many will say, yes, I want to go. And yes, I want to remember. And we will try to help you in the future to remember more and more. But remember, more fourth dimensional energy is required for memory in the brain and in your atmosphere. So we are working on that as well.
Perfect. There was a request. I think Alan requested. There he is. Alan requested you. So.
Oh, greetings.
Yes. Yes.
Greetings. So just first, I wanted to. So I noticed that you were said to be. You were at the workshop. Everyone was there, watching. What was your like reaction? What did you what? Yeah, what were your thoughts on that as someone from the outside looking in?
I thought there was many activations. I thought there was many interactions. There were so many things going on, Alan. There was some confusion, but actually there was more information than any other workshop at this point. But there was also more activations at this workshop than I had seen before in some ways. The activations were not all witnessed, if you will, but some of the activations were very personal. And so that was something that I did witness. I thought that I saw a couple activations for yourself and a couple of great thought processes, and there's still energy around you from the workshop. And so therefore, I think for you, it was a very unique experience. What were your thoughts about it?
Oh, sorry, did you say what are my thoughts about it?
Yes. Because you had a different reaction than everyone else.
I don't know. I'm kind of noticing that it was sort of like my mind doesn't really know what to do with the time spent there because there was my life leading up to it, and then this sort of oasis. It was like some sort of dream. Now that I'm back here, it feels like a dream, and I've just sort of my mind kind of doesn't know what to do with it.
What do you mean it's like a dream?
I mean that it feels like a different reality. It feels just so different. It feels like it wasn't this. It feels like a segment of another life, actually, if I were to describe the feeling. It just feels like it doesn't belong, but in a good way. It's sort of an oasis that kind of comes up, surprises you, and then once you're gone, you look behind.
Yes. All right. That is, I think some people that come to that workshop for the first time may have that kind of reaction to it. It is like a small oasis. It's a different kind of energy than anything that you felt before or since.
And my second question was so when someone puts a request for like a DNA infusion, when someone puts a request in, like what process does that initiate? Like what are the steps? Like what essentially from request to infusion, what's the steps in the middle, like along that sort of goes along?
We take the request, we give you a scan, we see if the request can work with your bodies, your system in third dimension and with your DNA. Then we send it to Sengi. Sengi is our person that does the infusions or sets up the schedule for the infusions and actually performs them. And then she will okay it and say how much percentage of an infusion that will be able to be given, if at all. There's very rare that an infusion will be denied. So most of the time it will be accepted, and she will give you a date, such as Tuesday or Friday or whatever, that the infusion will start. It starts in your sleep period, and it goes for 7 days of actually putting the DNA into the system, because the DNA has to be put into the system very carefully. And then on the last 3 days of the 10-day process, it will be activated, which means that it will be allowed to work with the other DNA that is in the system. But as it's being placed in the system, DNA is all through the body. So when it says 7 days to put DNA into the system, they must check it and double check it and triple check it that the DNA it's going into the DNA. The DNA is not rejecting it. The DNA is accepting it. The DNA is going to proliferate it properly into the system, etc. So it's sort of scientific the first 7 days. The last 3 days, it's activate slowly so that it can start moving into place where it needs to be with the other DNA elements. So that means that if you do already have Pleiadian in your system and you ask for a Pleiadian infusion, then it will sort of connect with that Pleiadian DNA from the past, make it stronger, and then we'll see where it goes from there, because sometimes it can affect in different ways. And they'll tell you before you get the infusion how it will affect you in the long run. Mostly they just tell you generally how it affects you, but for some beings, it will be specific how it will specifically help you or enhance you.
So is there a selection process for, like, I guess my question was more towards like the selection process for the being, like if you request a Pleiadian, like, you know, which Pleiadian, like, is there a process to determine like which individual be? Yeah.
All right. You can suggest an individual if you wish. Some people are very specific and ask for my DNA or for someone else's DNA very specifically. Some say, I want an angel infusion, but I want it to be from Metatron or Michael or Raphael or Gabriel or someone like that. So you can request who your DNA is coming from. A lot of people do not request a specific donor, and so that can also, we'll let you know if you want to know who the donor is, but if you can request a donor if you want someone specific.
Okay. I know there's another question, so I'll before I go, can you tell me the percentage of my most recent reptilian infusion? Do you have percentage? How much percentage was that? And then after that, I'm done.
6%.
6%. Thank you.
Yes, she had already looked it up before when you started talking. She had a hunch you might ask that. All right, very good.
Okay, thank you. Let me just see who else had a question. There is a question first from Julie, and I'm going to ask it because she's in a loud area. So she just wanted to know, how was her, let me just make sure I have the question correct. How was her progress on her thoughts after the workshop?
The progress of her thought process, let me look at them right now.
Okay.
Wow. Ooh. They're to be expected. Actually, she has done a lot of questioning in some ways, a lot of filtering, and you're doing exactly what you need to do to bring the information into your system, into your thought process, and into your actions in the most appropriate way. So the information that you got was more intellectual. So it is something that you are going to use because you are growing in many different directions. And that one direction is something that you will benefit from.
Okay, perfect. And Safira had a question.
Greetings.
Hello, Takara.
Greetings.
Hi. So I had quite an intense activation, probably for the first time, and that intense at the workshop. So it was a race of Fandorians. Well, Ish explained it was a race of Fandorians that is rarely seen. But I know so little about the Fandorians at all, and I know they're part of your federation. Would you mind please describing a little bit about who they are and just who they are, what they look like, and maybe this race that came to me and apparently is still hanging around?
Well, there are many different species of Fandorians. I mean, they don't all look alike. Some of the Fandorians are humanoid because we're talking about an area of space. We're not talking about just one race. We're talking about an area of space that has different species in it. So there's like 5 or 6 species in Fandorian space, what you would call Fandorian space. The race that you encountered was a more gaseous. It was not a humanoid species, but it was a very high sentience and a high intelligence, and they work in a very different way. They're overwhelmingly intelligent, overwhelmingly emotional. They are very emotional, and so what you felt and went through was quite a significant overtaking, and they will be with you the rest of your life, but they will integrate into you. Right now, they look like they're all around you, but eventually they'll all be within you.
That's awesome. So if I want to relate to them in my mind, communicate, like, okay, they're gaseous, but are there, within that gaseous state, are there individuals with different intelligences, or is it one intelligence?
One intelligence per gas cloud, yes.
Uh-huh. Ah, okay. All right. All right. Well, thank you so much. I would ask you what the purpose of it was exactly, but I think I'll find that out later privately.
That will actually become part of what you know.
Wonderful. Thank you. Good to hear you, Takara. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, Deda, did you have a mic? Oh, sorry, Kat was next. Go ahead, Kat, and we'll come to Deda. Kat?
Yes, hello.
Okay, there you are.
Greetings.
Yes, hello. Hi, Takara.
Hello.
How are you today?
Good
to hear you. I have a friend. She came from Mexico into Canada, and she's held, like, I think for 2 weeks in at the border, like in some sort of a hotel. I'm thinking, what is the purpose of this? They're not allowed to get out for like just maybe like an hour a day, in the morning, half hour, and afternoon, something like this. And what is the? I mean, she's very
at the border of Canada.
Yeah.
And where is she staying?
She came from Mexico. Well, she doesn't. She right now she does. She stays in Mexico, but she's Canadian citizen.
But why are they doing this at the border? I mean, what border is it that they're doing this at?
It's on the Canadian side, but it's like it's for the virus thing.
Yes, there are lots of rules and regulations that don't make a lot of sense for some of it. It's overprotecting, overdone. There should be some protection from this disease. Absolutely. It's a horrible disease, but the way that it's being handled is more of a manipulation, a control thing than actually what is necessary to some extent. Now, each country is dealing with it in a different way. I've seen many countries dealing with it even more harshly than this, and other countries that are very lax. So it depends on where you are and how manipulative, controlling the country wants to be with this. But it is somewhat of an experiment on how to see if the people will obey. And everyone is obeying to a high degree, which is good, I guess. I have to understand what their final motive is, but because I don't know that.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I'm not her, because I would be in jail right now, because I can't take this. And she said there was a man coming in a suit with a tube. I mean, like, this is like, you know what? This is like we have a monster from another galaxy, not a virus. Or anyway, and why? Anyway, no, I'm not going there.
No,
I have
positive.
Yeah, no, I see this is so stupid. I don't even know why this is out of my dimension. Totally, this virus thing is totally out. I'm not. It doesn't affect me at all. Actually, when I go on the street, and the only thing that I like is that when I go on the street, when I see people with no mask, I'm happy because I'm seeing someone who is smart. You know, I mean, it's
it's a matter. It's not a matter of smart or dumb. It's a matter of what you consider as your freedom and your free will. But the thing is, some people are covering their face because they believe that is smart, and other people are not because they believe that is smart. It depends on what field of thought you're in. If you're protecting yourself, if you're someone that is at high risk, then wearing the mask makes sense. And if you see other people not wearing the mask, then you feel like you're being disrespected because they're not doing something that is protecting you. However, you feel disrespected if by wearing the mask because you feel that there is no real danger. But that is not how everyone feels. So there are many different thought processes about what is happening on your world, and you must consider them all. And you must know that there is a reason for what's going on in this world, but God will take care of it eventually. There are lessons to be learned here. Some of them are about humility, about good examples, love, compassion, and wisdom. Learn these lessons. What are the lessons to be learned in the spiritual realm for what is happening on your planet? There are a lot of spiritual lessons here, and not to be just looked at in a third dimensional way, but looked at in a much higher way as well. I understand how you feel, and it's really aggravating for some people to look at the world and feel like they're being held down or they're being suppressed and things of this nature. But freedom will come. There is a reason for these things. It's about learning about yourself, who you are, and growing into your full potentiality as a good example to the world. That is what was being taught earlier. So yes, take all these incidences and make them personal, but also make them spiritual.
I agree with you, but you know, I can see where it is going, and it's just a start.
Can you really see where it's going? I don't think anybody can really see that.
Well, I tell you something. I did some work at the customer, and there was every day for 3 days, for 5 hours, she was listening on TV about how dangerous the virus and everything, you know, and I felt brainwashed.
I think that some people should turn off their televisions personally. And
yeah,
yes,
but most of the people, they listen this TV and they swallow this. And
the thing
I
is,
see
there are spiritual lessons to learn about that kind of thing, and your people need to learn them. Your people need to learn to turn off the television and not be brainwashed. There are those that are being brainwashed. Yes, perhaps that's how you look at it, but that's not how they look at it. The thing is, there are several different avenues of thought about this particular disease and how it's working in your world. You must take the most positive aspects of it, learn the lesson, and move as a positive entity into the world to educate in a loving way.
Yeah.
You may see the truth, you may see it, but you must educate in a loving way, because if you are not loving, they will not listen.
I'm nobody's teacher. They should be their own teacher.
But yet everyone is the teacher by example.
By example. Yeah, well, we know what happened in the past when someone teach by example.
What happened?
Well, they killed him, no?
Yes, but guess what? It freed a nation.
If you say so, I don't disagree with you. I'm not, but
yes, but
yeah.
it's hard to see the spiritual aspects until you listen until you put yourself in a place to actually listen to them in a way that you can understand them. There are so many things happening in this world and so many ways to hear the information. You must turn it into a spiritual conversation and not just a third dimensional one. Listen with your heart, your mind, your soul, your spirit. Keep everything in alignment and then hear the truth. Because I think the truth is somewhere out there, but I don't think it's being said out loud.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I agree. Yeah, I have a. I don't want to keep it long. I have a space-time antenna, like a
yes.
resonator. I'm just going to look at it, show it to you.
Is it
yes. Yeah, but I want to know if I should continue this project because so far it's occupying my time, and I've.
What megahertz are you on?
What is that?
What megahertz is going through it?
I don't know. It doesn't self-resonate at all.
All right. Then let me send 888 megahertz to it to see if it will activate.
But okay.
Okay. The project itself is fine because whether you know it or not, it is emitting energy. It is gathering something. It is making a difference, but it's not making a huge difference right now, but it is making a difference.
Oh, okay. So I'm not dumping this thing.
No, don't dump it, please. I like it.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. By according to someone says this is like a free energy device, and it doesn't. Yeah, okay, I'll keep it. Just one short more question. Do I have a someone angel called Nehemiah?
Nehemiah, yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much. I appreciate.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. There's a question from Detta. She's asking me to read it. She says, how can we avoid the EMF attacks in the eardrums?
A lot of times people are confusing these EMF attacks with tinnitus. Is this something actually outside of your body or is it inside? Clog your ears and see if it's coming from the inside or from the outside. If it is definitely an EMF attack from the outside, then just refuse it, because these waves and energies are refusable. If you're having an EMF attack, it was sent. So because 99 and 9.10% of the world is not experiencing that, that's considered an attack unless it's tinnitus. I will help you with that.
Okay.
There are several different ways to diffuse it.
Okay, thank you. The next question is from, one second, Steve. No, you didn't get skipped, Steve. You're just impatient. Just joking with you. Go ahead, Steve.
All right. All right. Hello, Takara.
Greetings.
Hi. Yes. So I had a question just about everyone's frustration, I guess. I would prefer to go to sleep and wake up at December 1st because of the current political climate. I'm a little tired of it. My question is how important is it who gets elected? Isn't it true that disclosure and ascension are going to happen regardless, even though so many people are acting like everything is pinnacle on this one person getting into office? That's my question.
It does not matter who is in office. It matters how the people are responding and the governments are responding to our talks to them. Now, one person or another, most at this time have been ignoring us completely. So we must make the first move, obviously, but it's not yet time. But this election will definitely have an effect on the world. I cannot tell you what that effect will be, but it will be worldwide.
Okay, so we should stress about politics, or no?
No, I would not. If you are going to be discussing politics, you're going to fall into a negative attitude.
There you go. So good things are going to happen regardless. Is that correct?
Well, but I wouldn't fall asleep till December 1st. I would vote your conscience because that's important.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You must vote what you believe to be true. Remember, there is a lot of propaganda out there. Neither side is telling the complete truth. Neither side is positive. And so you can't put all your eggs in one basket, as your saying goes, because you're going to end up disappointed. Hello?
Safira? Is she there?
I do not know.
Safira.
She probably dropped out.
No, she's here, but she's muted. So let me see if I can ask her to unmute.
Oh, hi. I'm sorry.
No
I
problem.
wasn't
Didn't you have a
expecting-
question?
No, I took my hand down.
Oh, you did?
It didn't work.
I
I'm
don't
sorry.
follow the hands. I follow them in the chat. So I didn't know if you.
No, I was, my last text was just for you.
Okay, great.
But thanks for asking. That's really nice that you asked. Thank you.
All right, no problem.
Okay.
Let's see. Who else had a question? Oh, Slash had a question. Go ahead, Slash.
Yes, hello. Greetings, Takara.
Greetings.
Okay. I've been meaning to ask this for a few years now, to be honest with you. When you first initially started the human colonies and DNA infusions, I actually one of the first ones who requested it, but just want to know how. I know it's a few years since we did this, but whether I've visited any of the colonies or have I had any.
You have done some visitation to the colonies, but not everyone is remembering it. In fact, most people are not. The thing is, even though you don't remember it, the visitations to the colony are edifying to the subconscious and actually come into conscious work in some ways, especially if you are doing the channeling classes, the telepathy and light language, the healing area, the meditation area. There are many areas on, and many people benefit from Colony 2, which is exercise, diet, and everything that goes along with that, and diet, etc. So people have come back and wonder why they're changing the way they do things. They don't remember being at the colonies, but now they've changed their diet a little bit. Now they've changed the way they do things a little bit. Now their meditations are strangely a little bit different. Now their light language has changed, or their channeling, they're starting to feel the workings of it coming. So even though you do not feel or remember the colonies as visual, you still have benefits from visiting there.
Are you able to tell me which ones I have visited?
You visited Colony 1, which is light languages and telepathy. You've visited the channeling area, which is 4, Colony 4. You visited 6, which is the healing area. You spent quite a bit of time there. You were observing and also helping with healing, and so you spent some time there. And finally, there was times you spent in the meditation. We have several different kinds of meditation classes and several different rooms with different meditations going on. That has become one of our biggest most popular areas. We have to add on to that. We had something like 10 rooms and now they're making it into 15. So because there's so many kinds of meditation and so much interest in it.
Okay, and regarding DNA infusions, have I had any?
Yes, you asked for DNA infusions. Which ones did you ask for?
To be honest, I cannot remember. This is going back about 5-6 years now.
You did have infusions. I think you had, she said you had 2 different ones. You had Pleiadian and you had, what are they? Octorian.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know for now, unless you want to add anything else to it.
Yes, the Pleiadian and Octorian work well together. So yes.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome. Back then, when first we started doing infusions, we did not have Fendorian. We did not have some of the infusions that we have now. We didn't have angel infusions. We didn't have those kinds of things, or 7th dimensional infusions. We just had Lyran, Pleiadian, Octorian, and Syrian and Orion, I think. Those were the only ones that we started off with. So now we have a plethora of different infusions you can get.
Perfect. Don has some questions from the YouTube. Don, do you want to ask them or do you want me to? Can you ask them?
You go ahead, Karen. I'm just monitoring them, communicating with somebody else at the same time.
Oh, you're multi-talented.
Thank you.
Okay. Let me see. There's a question from Hachi. Yeah. Hachi Yeya, I guess. The question is, the vaccines coming out, are they dangerous?
This is a good question. But right now, the ability to put incredibly dangerous nanotechnology into the infusions is too expensive. They would like to do it, but it's costs too much. It would. They are trying to develop nanobots that recreate themselves. They have not been able to do so at this time. They do have nanobot technology that they wanted to put into the vaccines, but that will not happen with this vaccine. Now, is there going to be dangerous other things in there? They have to test these vaccines and they have to get FDA approval or whatever, whoever approves them. And if they were to do so, these vaccines are going to be torn apart at first. People are not going to want them. People are going to deny them. They're going to be mandatory. There's so many things going to happen with them. So I don't even know where the ball is going to land on these vaccines, because many of the people making the vaccines want them to be pure. They are good people, but they are being controlled by not so good people. So you have to understand that the good people are sort of crying out for that. Many have quit making vaccines because they are not going to be a part of it. So I will keep you updated on that at this point. Right now, it is that there's a vaccine coming out, but I have no idea what status it is.
Okay. I know that in a couple countries, they started some trials. There's a big race worldwide, isn't there? I mean, there's a lot of countries working on them.
But there's several different vaccines.
Yeah.
Not the same one.
Right.
And so we'll see which one works the best. But the thing is, the ones coming from big countries, major countries, those are the ones you should be worried about. The smaller countries have no intent or agenda for poisoning their people.
Okay. There is a question from Naveed saying, do you know when one would come out, but I think that's.
I would think early 2021.
Okay. All right. That would be ready for coming out. Do you mean ready for use or to be tested?
For testing. Well, no, I think a vaccine will be ready by 2021.
Okay, great. Okay.
Early, probably January or February.
All right. Let me just see. There was another question. Let me go down, go down, go down. David has a question. Go ahead, David.
Hello.
Greetings.
Good to speak with you, Takara. I am interested in learning any aspects about the abilities of light language. It seems that I have some new ones. If you're able to tell me some of the ones I'm speaking, if I'm speaking some new ones, and how.
Sumerian and, well, that's the first one you got was Sumerian. Now you're speaking some Arcturian because you picked that up from some of the people around you. So, and you're actually you're speaking most in the ancient realms, the ancient languages. So ancient Arcturian, ancient Sumerian, a little bit of the Egyptian I hear coming through you, and other things, yes.
And in what ways can you guide me so that it will benefit people? I mean, I'm hearing feedback that they can feel it. Is there any different abilities of different types?
What?
Is there any different special abilities for different types of languages that have stronger effects for certain areas?
Oh, they are all strong because they are all spiritual languages. All light language is spiritual language, and they may speak in different ways to different problems, but they are going to speak for you in ways that you cannot speak for yourself or speak for others or for the world. So you have different languages, perhaps, that will speak very differently about a topic than other languages. So use them all.
Okay, yeah, I was just curious about effectively using it for healing and other things, because people say they feel it in different areas of the body, like the heart or chakras, or they'll feel
that is where they
things.
need it. Where it will come to them wherever they need it.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, that's great. Okay.
Yes.
And anything else you want me to tell me about the light language I'm doing, or anything that you would guide me to do to help people?
No, just use them in conjunction with your healing. Use them in conjunction with your prayer life. Use them in conjunction with anything that you are doing that needs guidance.
Can it help with situations when someone's being abused by somebody else?
Yes, of course.
Okay, yeah, I've just come across a situation like that with a woman, she being harassed by somebody.
All
Okay.
right. The thing is, when you speak the light language, it will pray for them in a way that you do not know how to pray, because it will know the situation better than you do.
Okay, that's great. That's beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. There's a question from Jaladun. I can't say your full name, I apologize. Jaladun Ahmad Shahrudin, I think. Shahrudin. I'm trying to do it right. Anyway. His question is, can the COVID symptoms be created in our body through EMF emissions from the smartphone?
No, not usually. If you have the disease itself will make itself apparent. If you are experiencing EMF emissions that are causing difficulties, it will not be the same symptoms as the COVID.
Okay, there's a question from Kralik. He said, scientists classify species by genetic families such as Canis major, Phylida, etc. Do galactic scientists classify intelligent species in the same way? For example, Zespods and the
Aleashondizendi.
Thank you.
Yes. the thing is, yes, they're all different species, and they come under different physical appearance and headings, but mostly what it is chemical makeup. Most humanoids are of a certain chemical makeup. So most reptilians are of a certain chemical makeup. Certain mantis and insectoids are of a certain chemical makeup. So that is how they're differentiated. So if you say humanoid, reptilian, insectoid, these are all different categories of life. The tree people, unicorns, I know there's unicorns out there far away, but they're still there. But they're a different phylum, a different species. The thing is, they don't have the same makeup, the same chemical makeup as most. There are humanoids that do not fit into the same chemical makeups, and so that they would be humanoid Bs, humanoid B category, or humanoid C category, where we have a phylum or a description or a breakdown of what makes them different than the category A humanoids. Being that I'm a Lyran, I am in a different category than most humanoids or any of the other ones. The Lyrans are in their own category, along with a couple other of the cat-like species.
Okay, thank you for that. There is a question from Elga. Go ahead, Elga.
Yeah, hi Takara. Greetings. I just started to talk a little bit of like language. That's what I thought I do. I was just wondering, is there any language that I have I have many in me, but is there any language in me that is, so to say, my language?
Yes. You have to understand something, that all the languages that you speak are your language. Some of them are from past lives, some of them are from the oversouls or creative realms, where you've been able to speak to other species or whatever. But they are all languages that are part of who you are and part of your history and ancestry.
Okay, is there any way that I could bring out, am I speaking light language? Have I been speaking?
Yes, you have.
I have. To me, it sounds like bubble. There was an experience I had. There were a lot of emotions, and it felt almost like there was a tsunami coming over me. And I opened my mouth, and I had symbols coming out of my mouth. And it was a language I had no control over. It just came out, bubbling out of my mouth. Would you know what was that?
It must have been a species that is very used to using galactic languages, galactic symbols, I mean, because otherwise the symbols wouldn't have been there. But I can see that that would be probably one of the species in this galaxy, but I do not know who that was. I would have to hear the language.
Oh, I don't think I can ever repeat that. And I also find that when I do speak, to me it sounds like I never say the same thing. I never use the same words.
Yes, of course not.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, we will always use different words, because when you're talking like this, you're using different words constantly. Well, what your light language should not be any different. It shouldn't be the same word over and over and over again. It should be many, many different kinds of words that are expressing many different kinds of thoughts.
Okay, thank you. So I do speak light language.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Jay has a question. Go ahead, Jay.
Thank you. Takara, hello, how are you?
I am very well, thank you.
Excellent. It's great to hear. Takara, I am curious. I had an experience, I believe last week, and no, okay, well, I had a series of little experiences involving insects, and I will
Yes.
provide the backstory to them. I was hanging out with a couple of acquaintances and a dragonfly. Now, for me, they symbolize something positive. It was flying around us and it landed on my shoulder, and I took that as good luck or something positive, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Yes, and 1 or 2 days later, a grasshopper landed on the collar of my t-shirts, and I thought that was interesting.
Yes.
And then maybe one day ago, or yesterday, I should say, I was talking with a coworker, and I noticed a mantis or praying mantis, and I connected the synchronicities, insects, but I wanted to know if you could provide any inputs about that because I'm very curious. Thank you.
Yes. Let me tell you what that is about. Right now, there are certain species that they are working through the insects world, the bird population, the animal population, depending on what they are. Now, insectoids, or those that are high high amount of insect, will be working through the insect population. You happen to be someone that would be very open to them, someone that would be very positive with them. And so they realize this. And so they're just getting your attention. Perhaps one time soon or in the near future, there might be some other insects that will be coming to you. But I believe you will be working with the insect population of the universe at some point.
Thank you for that. You know, I feel like I've been working with myself, just how I feel, checking in with myself, and because of that, I feel more open, not just to people in general, but also like a creation and in a positive way, so to speak. That may sound vague, but I do have one more question, and this one's a fun one for me. I love felines. I love cats. And since I was little, that connection was established very naturally. And every now and then I'll have dreams with cats, but also with species of cats or felines that I've never seen before on this planet. I don't know if they exist here or other planets. Would you happen to know what that's about when people dream about maybe cats that aren't from this planet, so to speak? Or yes.
Well, that would be like from my world. I am a feline. I am a Lyran. There are other felines. There are groups. There's the lupine group, which is the wolf group, which is also sort of in the dog world, but has some cat features. And there are other feline worlds as well. And we occupy several different small areas in space. Now funny it is that we expanded ourselves so far into space. Now we have larger populations around the universe, but in some places it's still smaller because we're integrating with other species, etc. So, but yes, perhaps you will be working with Lyrans or others. I think that with your future, you might be working with a variety of alien species.
Thank you for the wonderful and fun conversation, Takara. Take care.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. I don't know that there's any other questions. Unless I missed. No, I think that was the No, Alan has a question. Sorry. Go ahead, Alan. Go ahead.
One last one about the hybridization program. So how often is it that when someone gives DNA, do they also receive DNA? Like when they give DNA to have a hybrid child with, say, a Lyran, would they also be receiving Lyran? Or how often is it that it's mutual giving and then getting?
You must request specifically what you're looking for. If you're giving DNA, then we will take it and do with it what you request. If you want an infusion, you must specify that you want it from what species. If our people from Gurkviknir are coming to take a specimen of blood from you or whatever, then that would not mean that we are going to be infusing you with anything, because there's 8 different species here. So you'd have to make up your mind which species you'd want an infusion from. Even if you want an infusion from these 8, some people choose outside of that with an Andromedan figure or a angelic or 7th dimensional figure. So yes, it is that you have to be specific what you're doing with us. We want to be very specific.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm saying is the species of someone's hybrid children, are those a good indicator of what galactic DNA they themselves have?
Not necessarily. If you have given DNA, usually you get to request what species you want that child to be born from, and then we will check to make sure that it is possible. But if you just say, I don't care what species, then we will match you up to a species that will definitely be able to handle that situation.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, Safira has a question. And then Barbara.
Oh, hello again, Takara. I just have a short question. Since you mentioned lupines, I was thinking, you know the werewolf in our folklore on the earth? Are you familiar with the
Yes.
Are there werewolves, and have there been, and are there still on the earth?
There are werewolves. Those are created by magic spells and by curses. They are not natural forms of beings. They are created by curses and magic and negativity usually. But they do not exist except where they were created. Same with vampires. Vampires were created by spells and by curses.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hi, Takara. It's Barbara. How are you doing?
Greetings. I am doing well. And yourself?
Doing well. Hey, I have something maybe you can clarify for me or confirm for me. A couple of nights ago, I looked up in the sky and there was like this red dot up there. It was kind of shimmering, but it was constantly red. So lately, I've been looking for UFOs and trying to talk to them, etc. Can you confirm if that was a UFO? Because it was just moving very slow and it's bright.
I'm going to go into your mind and look and see what you saw. There are red orbs that are saucers or ships, I should say. But there are also some red things in the sky that are significant with satellites and other things. One moment, please. No, that wasn't a satellite. You did see something. That is interesting. I did a close-up of it from your angle, and it looks like what they call a tester. And a tester is a ship that is not yet manned, or there's nothing in it, but it's testing to see if there's life on a planet. I'm surprised that one of those would be around. That might have just been sent there accidentally, but it was unmanned, and it's what they call a tester.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, let me see. Is there one more question? I'm not sure. Did I miss anyone? Did I miss anybody?
I have a question.
Go
I
ahead,
have a question.
whoever that person is. Angie, go ahead.
How is the Earth in regards to its stability right now, like earthquakes and things like that? What are you guys working on specifically for us?
I can't say that it is completely stable, no. But it is more stable than it was a week ago. A week ago, it was, I should say 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, it was very unstable. Then it got a little better last week, and this week it's even better still. However, those kinds of stabilities can be lost in a heartbeat. So we are really paying close attention, especially to the western part of your United States and the Yellowstone Park, Alaska area, the Chilean area, the Mexican border on the Pacific coast, over by Japan. There's a lot of quakes in the Japanese area and in the islands in that area. Hawaii is a concern as well. So there are many places that we are looking at, even down toward New Zealand and Australia. There are still some concerns. So we are going to keep everything in close spect. We're going to keep it in close observation.
Thank you very much, Takara.
You're welcome.
Thank you. There's a question from Dawn from the chat.
Yes.
Or from you, Dawn, actually. Go ahead.
Yes, the question is from me. I know that the quantum financial system is taking effect, I believe, on the 20th of this year, or sorry, the 20th of August. My question is, I had also heard that there's going to be a shutdown of the internet in the near future. Can you give me an update on that?
There has been talks of that throughout the different countries, and this one as well. It's a dangerous prospect to do so.
Mm-hmm.
There will be much information lost that they want to keep a hold of because it's not backed up properly. I cannot explain to you what I mean, but most places have backups and the cloud and things of this nature. There are certain establishments that are underground that cannot use the same kind of technology to back things up. And if they were to do that, the chances of that information being lost are very high because they have several underground communication areas that just do that, but the storage of that information has not been backed up yet. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not on your planet. I sort of think that it's not going to happen, at least not right now, because it would be not a smart thing for most nations to do. There's other reasons for that too. Some communications from the sky, your satellites and things of that nature, would be affected by that because their signal would be lost on some areas, and getting that back might be very difficult, at least back to the right places. Now, you might think that they would have ways to get that back really fast, but it would probably take a great deal of time. They could get it back, there's no question, but it would take several hours and maybe days.
Thank you, Takara. Appreciate that. Blessings.
I say something about that. This past Monday here in The Hague in the Netherlands, there was a blackout that started at 11 in the morning, and it took them 8 hours to restore the electricity. But not only did the electricity go out, but after 30 minutes, all of the phones went out. We no longer have landlines, and the mobile phones went out. So you couldn't make any calls. And for a good amount of time, there was a lot of chaos because there was, for instance, my neighbor who is blind, she had no one to call. She couldn't call anyone. She had no electricity. She had no way to know what was happening. There was another man down the street who was on oxygen that had to be rushed in someone's car to the hospital because we couldn't even call emergency services. So it was a pretty, even though it was temporary, it was pretty awakening what can happen when that happens because there's no one to call, there's nothing to do.
Yes, your phone towers went down.
No, there was a fire in the electric, and the entire electric grid went down, and the phone towers that were attached to it went
Correct.
down as well. Yeah.
But that only happened in your country. The satellite
Yeah.
didn't go down, but the phone tower.
Oh, right. But that's just saying like locally it went down. And I was so surprised that the mobile phones were in the same section as the electric. So it was
Yes.
pretty, it was
Sometimes
rattling. Let's say that.
Yes, they sometimes don't do a good job of routing and putting things in the right places for the most efficient service.
Yeah.
But that is very frightening.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, so sorry. I with comments I lose who's next. Who was next? I believe
I think Eva.
Eva, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Hello.
Greetings.
I have a questions. It's a little bit refers to what Elijah said. He reminded us how important right now in all these changes is to be focused on positive. But people like myself and many other Hucolo members are going through the third chakra clearing. So a lot of things which otherwise would be not a big deal suddenly are big because we are dealing with clearing of life. So how could you give us some advice of how to manipulate the positive while how to stay positive while trying to work with the chakra?
I understand your question.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're going through the magic in the solar plexus chakra, which is clearing out all past karma and negativity and all these things. But when it's going through there, it brings those things up so they can be cleared. That is actually a very positive thing, although they do make you feel really terrible in the first however long it does. Clearing those out is positive and will allow you to bring in greater positivity. But to endure it is very difficult. I understand that. And there's not much I can do to say, to tell you that it's not going to happen anymore, because it still will. But I can tell you this, let it happen as quickly as possible, clear it out as fast as possible, and get through these solar plexus as quickly as you can. I know that the solar plexus takes a long time to get through. So it is that you need to just get through it as quickly as possible, and then it won't be a problem. But remember, God loves you, and that this is happening for a reason. I love you, and just call on us. We'll help you with as much as we can.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Was that your last question, Eva?
Thank you. I love you too. I realized I was on mute. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Okay. There's a question from David. Go ahead, David.
Hello, Takara.
Yes.
So I'm wondering about, did a light language activation for someone. I'm wondering if you're able to say what that person is speaking.
Are they wanting to know that?
I think so, but I mean, I didn't ask specifically.
And was it any language that you ever heard before?
It's the one of, well, he's speaking a couple different ones, but the first one was similar to a friend that sounded kind of Native American. I just can't recall if it's, I vaguely remember him wanting to know, but I can't say for sure.
I really don't know unless I hear them what they are speaking. However, whatever language it is, it's doing them a lot of good, and perhaps they're praying for you as well. So I would have to hear them speak it. It's really hard to tell because there's so much in their minds right now. I can't really go in there, and I don't even know who these people are. So right now I would have to say I don't know yet.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
All right. Thank you. Much love.
Welcome. All right. I think it is time for prayers.
It is time. They just one quick request. Julianne is requesting if you can send healing to the Patterson, California fire or to Californians in general.
Yes, I can. We have been watching that closely as well. We're not allowed to become involved with putting that out, but we definitely are sending prayers and thoughts to that. Definitely. So I wish I could just, we could put it out in probably a half an hour, but we're not allowed to do that.
Right. I understand. Okay, so everyone can turn on their cameras now. We're gonna go back and do blessings if people are ready.
Who is, all right.
We'll
Much
start
love,
with,
and I will bring Jim back.
well, thank you. If you want to stay for the blessings or not, it's up to you.
I will bring Jim back.
Okay.
I must go anyway.
Okay.
Much love to you all.
Much love to you, Takara. Thank you for your.
Hello?
Oh, so sorry. My dog just screamed. I'm so sorry. You all
What?
heard.
All
Nothing.
right.
My dog just got into a situation. It's okay.
Okay.
So sorry. We have blessings. We'll start with Alan.
Krasa yarda ugatsia tashana. Igarra osaki yarda ugasanya ita shaka yata. Kunya yarda ugazinga rizonga yata jukita. Krazingo jina uzeka jinda viziata. Kina ruka ajinda vijekante zivijantia voziata. Kamajinda vizimidyandi karamanjanza.
The application of love needs put on every part of this world that you live in. There are those of you that are strong with it, but there are more that are weak and need building up. We are seeing the awakening of many, but they do not know what they are awakening to. So we need to inform them. We need to let them understand that everything will work for their positivity if they understand what the future really holds and what is the future really about.
Thank you. Okay, Dawn, go ahead.
Thank you, Karen. Tarao masnia as you to do yaka sika as you as you as aus when you aus ayo so you au na akus la sa
Come together and see eye to eye. Do not engage in arguments or indifferences, for these will not help with your unconditional love for one another. You must learn it in a way that it can reach out into the world. If you cannot do it within your friendship circle, then you surely will be deficient in a worldwide manner. But now is a time to bring these gifts and understandings to fruition.
Thank you. Eva, go ahead.
Nyamoshu kikuza atsiku nyama azini kasha atakula kisama o katakazinya a uniki uha saranijo nyava aniki kikusa karaniki kanamuna akikikusa osaha.
There are many illusions in your world at this time. Hold fast with the truth that you know to be firm. Let the illusions dissolve. There are many truths that seem to be accurate, and there are many falsities that seem to be truths. Remember, it's a disillusioned world that you see before you, and this time in your presence, you must learn to know the difference through your spiritual contact with God.
Great. Okay, and David had a blessing.
Okay. Ko rahanea atu marahatia ru'tia skrit kutumaniara tuiana hanea to yan shimana hieto parahana to rahatatian shewa atu kia rahatu mana yer atu ru'tua shikarahana yer utuma hanaya shakikia tu siwa suma ati shikukuna hanayati wahatu.
Break through your own doubts and grow. You are more healthy than you think you are. You are more spiritual than you know. God has a hold of you and will never let go, and your protection is unequaled in the universe. For you are his people, and with that, he will give you all that he has. Give him all that you have so that you may benefit in the fullest way.
Beautiful.
Thank you. And thank you so much, Jim, for a lovely session.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I hope everybody had a good time. Much
Very
love
nice.
to everyone. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And
And
have a great day.
you'll be back in 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. And next week we have Tyler Ellison. He'll be back.
Okay.
Tyler's going to be here. And so that'll be exciting. So everyone who hasn't liked and subscribed, like and subscribe. And this session with Jim is for the Hucolo Club members, which means we only open the room for the Hucolo Club members. And if you would like to be a Hucolo Club member, you can go to hucolo.org/webinars. And for $10 a month, you get 2 channeling sessions with Jim in the group. So that's how it works. And we appreciate everyone who's a Hucolo Club member because it helps us keep our lights on, basically. So thank you for your continued support.
Yes.
Huh?
Have a great day.
Yeah, have a great day, everyone. And we'll see you next week. Like and subscribe. I'm doing this because I think that's where the like and subscribe thing is, but I'm not sure. Okay, much love to you, everyone. Bye.